Hey guys, Akil Stokes here. Welcome back to another episode of the Trading Coach Podcast. Today, we're going to talk about the one thing you need to learn in order to be a successful trader, if that is indeed true. By the way, if you haven't done so already, make sure you head over to the website, www.tier1trading.com. Check out all the available content we have over there. Real quick, Akil, are you self-taught or did someone teach you how to trade? I was coached and mentored. I tried for a while by myself, stubbornly and unsuccessfully. I started off in the stock market. I had a really good success in the stock market. Not as a technical trader. I went to Forex because I can trade with less and I could make more in a shorter period of time. That's what I was sold, at least. And I thought I can just pick up and play it. And I learned the hard way that technical analysis is a completely different beast. The Forex market is a completely different beast. So I had a pretty long learning curve. But eventually I kind of curved my ego and said that I need help because I was bleeding. I was profusely bleeding money. And I got help. I got coached. I got mentored. I still failed for a pretty long period of time because I was still looking for the shortcut, right? I thought that all I had to do was like, hey, once I sign up and pay for a course, then my results will turn around, right? And I didn't realize like you actually had to put in the work. I was still looking for the thing. And it wasn't until I started focusing on just learning how to trade that I started seeing results. But yeah, I did have a mentor. Did have a mentor. Real quick, just going through. Just learn the Elliott wave theory, and you will do just fine. Yes and no. I won't get on a whole rant about Elliott waves, but I can tell you this. I guess first and foremost, I don't poo-poo anything in the market. Like I said before, I can care less how anyone trades. All that matters is your bottom line. Like, are you making money, right? If you guys ever read the book Market Wizards or any of the books in the series, right? Market Wizards is a collection of the best traders of all time and interviews about how they became successful. And there was two valuable lessons that I learned from Market Wizards. One, all these guys sucked, right? I don't know how many of you guys have read Market Wizards, at least the first one, right? It was so, I sound like a hater, right? It was so refreshing to hear how much these guys sucked. I think all but one guy like never lost a trade ever. He just came out running, right? But everyone else sucked. And it was cool because I read this book while I sucked. And I remember reading this story. It sounds like such a hater. Reading this story about this trader, and he blew all his money and he went to the back stairwell of the office. He had to call his mom and ask for a loan so he can get back in the position. So he's like crying and begging his like, Mom, can you give me a couple $1,000 so I can get back in the position? And I'm reading this. I'm like, yes, this guy's a loser. He's worse than me. I thought I was the worst. Sounds horrible, but at the time when you're bad, like, you don't hear any stories on the internet about people struggling. Everyone is just the greatest, right? So like to hear that people struggled, I'm like, yeah, this is cool. But the second lesson I learned from Market Wizards is that it doesn't matter how you trade, you can be profitable, right? People use fundamentals, people use technicals, people use harmonic patterns, people use support and resistance, people use astrology, right? People use the almanac, right? It doesn't matter. So yeah, you could be quite profitable trading Elliott waves. You can be quite unprofitable trading Elliott waves, just like anything else. For me personally, I understand Elliott waves. I understand the role that they play in the market. I'm not personally a fan of using them in trading, aside from, again, the general knowledge of how the market moves. But as far as like counting waves, I've never been a fan of that personally, just because it is extremely difficult to consistently, and again, if you have a rules-based region, if you've dedicated time to doing it, you will have a consistent way. The problem I have with it was a consistent way of identifying waves, especially with how the market moves in fractals, which means moves within moves within moves, and stuff like that. But again, if you are dedicated to Elliott wave, just like if someone's dedicated to advanced pattern formations, you found a way that works for you. And you've tested it. It's testable, verifiable, repeatable. You can trade it for a profit. But I wouldn't just say just learn Elliott waves and you'll be fine. I wouldn't say that for anything. I would say that for maybe just general technical analysis, but not specifically Elliott waves, not specifically patterns. Probably the only thing I would say that for is like support and resistance. If you just learn support and resistance, that will help in many aspects. Because support and resistance are basically target levels for everything. My homeboy said, "You look like me, so now I'm here." Nice. You must be a handsome looking man. Yeah. What pairs do I trade? So I'm getting some questions on YouTube. I'm gonna kick these guys out soon. Don't worry. So I wanted to add to this Elliott wave conversation a bit instead of just leave you hanging, because I know a lot of times when you say stuff doesn't work, and I'm sure I didn't say that, but when you say stuff doesn't work, you can't use this or you can't use that, people tend to assume that it's the say all be all, meaning like the actual thing doesn't work. Advanced patterns don't work. Elliott waves don't work. Fibonacci's don't work. MACDs don't work. And the truth is this, right? In trading, typically there's not one thing that works like all the time. It's more so about how you use it. So think about it like being a chef, right? You may have an ingredient that you may not like in its own right, but when you put it together with other things, when you combine it with other things, you can create a very special dish. And this is a change of mindset that I've had probably over the last decade or so, because when I originally got into the market, I had the mindset of this works, this doesn't work, it's black or white. And Elliott waves are one of those things that I just assumed did not work, right? Someone probably told me it didn't work at some point in time. And at that point in my trading where I'm in that unconscious incompetent stage where I'm just, learning, I'm a sponge for information, whatever someone tells you, you believe until you actually do your own research. And I remember one winter doing some research, right? Wintertime is typically December is when I do continued education. So there are a handful of things I can do. It could be strategy development. It could be taking a new training course. It could be reviewing some of the training courses that I took when I was learning how to trade. Basically dedicated time away from just technical analysis and active trading and more on the education process, right? For me to get better. And I remember one year I took an Elliott wave course because I was interested. It was something on my checklist that I wasn't knowledgeable about and I wanted to learn more. And it really opened up my mind to a lot of things, because when you hear these Elliott wave enthusiasts across the internet, it's very similar to like these pattern nerds where they it seems like they're this out there type of group that is kind of doing their own thing and it's weird and it's whatever. But when I was properly taught about Elliott waves, I actually had my eyes opened, and Elliott wave theory wasn't exactly what I thought it was. It had much more to do with the natural movement of the market, the ebbs and flows. I was already a harmonic trader with advanced patterns and Fibonacci-based patterns. So the harmonic nature and AB equals CDs and extensions and retracements, the series and patterns of that actually made a lot of sense for me. Now, it didn't end up becoming something that I traded in its own right, meaning I don't sit there and I don't count waves. Honestly, I don't want to say I can care less about a first wave, second wave, all that fun stuff. It does play a role, but the biggest benefit that it had in my trading was understanding how that theory works within the overall kind of process of technical analysis, process of market flow. And it did allow me to increase my edge in the market, right? When I'm able to spot a middle wave, which is the longest wave, I can now kind of say, hey, that's the wave, the extension that I want to shoot for, right? When I see that third wave complete shorter, I guess that fifth wave complete shorter, I tend to just count the extensions. But when I see the fifth wave complete shorter, I know that, hey, the trend is slowing down. If I see that coming into a key level of structure, I'm more focused on that being a reversal area, or I know that a complex pullback isn't a reversal, it's just a little bit of a relief before a trend extends. So I was able to use that knowledge and combine it with the other bits of knowledge that I acquired over the years, plural, right? And really have it benefit my trading. So that goes for anything out there. Again, that could be an indicator. It can be a classic harmonic pattern. It can be a classic chart pattern, a head and shoulders, something like that. I think it's important for a newer trader that you guys understand there's no one thing that works. There's no one thing that doesn't work. There's no good. There's no bad. It's all about how you use the thing and what you combine with that thing to give yourself an edge. Hope you guys enjoyed. Remember, I'm on social media, YouTube, a lot of videos posted throughout the week, almost daily. Just YouTube search Akil Stokes, and make sure you check out my shorts channel as well. Search Akil Stokes Shorts for daily quick trading tips, 1 minute or less, so it will fit within your attention span.